Here we are, Math 3, combining functions. So, many of you finished this in class, but if you still have some questions, we can go over that. So, going to go through every single problem. Now, these first 6 are just adding. So, adding functions, we just take the whole function and the whole second function, and then we were told g is first, h is second, there's g of n, there's h of n, and we're adding them together. So we just add them together. That's all there is to it. So these parentheses really don't matter because we're simply adding them all together. So we just combine like terms. 3n plus 2n would give us 5n. 3 plus a negative 5 would give us a minus 2. There is our new function. All right. So number 2, same idea. G of n, n squared minus 4n, plus f of n, 2n, combine like terms, negative 4n, positive 2n, we get n squared minus 2n. Number 3, my f of a, so 4a plus 1, we're adding my g of a, 2a minus 1, 4a and 2a make 6a, 1 and negative 1 would be 0. Adding 0 does nothing, so we just leave it 6a. Now the difference we see with 4, 5, and 6 is now instead of a variable, we've got a number here. Okay. Before we had a variable, so we combined with the variables. So there's 2 ways we can do this one. Okay, the first way is just like we've done, and then we put the number in where the variable would be, and it would look like this. So negative 4x minus 4 plus x cubed minus 5x. No other x cubed, so I'd go x cubed. Okay, negative 4x, negative 5x, negative 9x, minus 4. But I want it when this x is negative 6. So I replace the x's, the variables, with a negative 6, and then I simplify. Negative 6 cubed is negative 216. Negative 9 times negative 6 is positive 54. Minus 4. 50 minus 4 would give us, or 54 minus 4 would give us 50. Negative 216 plus 50 ends up being 166. And there's my answer. Okay, that's one way you can do it. The other way, if we look at 5, would be to plug this 10 in and do h of 10 and find g of 10 and then take h of 10 and g of 10 and just add them together. So h of 10 would be 10 plus 2, which is 12. So that would be 12. G of 10 would be 2 times 10 minus 2. So 20 minus 2 would give us 18. So I'd go 12 plus 18 to get an answer of 30. Now, it doesn't matter which one you do. You can do it either way. So for number 6, I'll just kind of flip-flop back and forth. So 3n plus n minus 4. That would give me 4n minus 4. Then we plug in the 3 for n, negative 3. And we get negative 12 minus 4, which would be negative 16. Alright, so there's the addition. Now a subtraction, it's similar, except where we started up here with parentheses, and we just put the plus, and then we got rid of the parentheses. With minusing, with subtraction, we want to keep the parentheses because that negative, that minus, affects the parentheses after. So if we look at 7, start out 4n minus n squared minus 5. Now that negative here, that minus here, applies to each one. So it's actually a minus n squared, but a plus 5. And that's what you've got to be careful of. Now, there's no like terms, so I just leave it how it is, and there's my answer. Number 8, we go x squared plus 2x, or plus 2 plus 2x, minus 4x. So that minus applies just to the 4x. We get x squared plus 2 plus 2x minus 4x. 2x minus 4x would give us x squared minus 2x plus 2. And there's my answer. Number 9, negative 3x minus 1 minus x cubed. So negative 3x minus 1 minus x cubed. No like terms here, so I have to leave it like that. Okay, now number 10, so let's do them separately. So I'd find g of 1 first. So it'd be 2 times 1 cubed plus 2 times 1 squared. 1 cubed is 1, 2 times 1 is 2, 1 squared is 1, 2 times 1 is 2, 2 plus 2 gives me 4. So for g, we'd put 4. Then minus, then we'd find f of 1. So negative 1 minus 1, which would give us negative 2. So f would be negative 2. 4 minus a negative 2, that's like plus, would give us 6. Okay. Looking at 11, let's combine them. Negative 2n plus 4 minus n minus 3. So negative 2n plus 4, that subtract goes to the n and also to the 3, making it a plus 3. Negative 2n minus n, negative 3n. 4 plus 3 plus 7. Plug in the negative 9. We get a positive 27 plus 7, which is a 34. Okay, if we do it separate again, g of negative 3, right, would be 2 times negative 3 minus 5, would be negative 6 minus 5, would give me negative 11. H of negative 3, negative 3 squared plus 3, negative 3 squared is positive 9, plus 3 is 12. So I get g, which is negative 11, minus h, which is 12, giving me a negative minus a number would give me a negative 23. And there's my answer. All right, we're going to skip these 6. We'll come back to them. Let's do division first. Now with division, it's actually pretty simple because these aren't necessarily set up to be simplified so much. So we take the g, because it's on top, 4n plus 4, divided by negative 2n squared plus 3n. Okay, then we look to simplify. Well, they share a 4, so I could go 4 times n plus 1 over, they share an n times negative 2n plus 3. Now, some of you may have saw, well, a 4n and a 3n, we can cancel some of that out. But because of the plus sign, the top is a package deal with the bottom. But if you change it to multiplication, then say this was n plus 1 and n plus 1, we could eliminate that. Because we can't, I am fine just leaving it like that. You can go like this as well, though. So really simple, right? 3t squared plus 5 divided by 4t minus 3. Can't do anything. That's all we do. Now, these type of functions are called rational functions, and we'll deal with them later on in the year. So for right now, just kind of seeing them is enough. Okay, so x cubed minus x over 3x plus 1. We could make it x times x squared minus 1, but that wouldn't do anything. So we leave it how it is. Now in 22 through 24, once again, we can start out by going t squared plus 3 divided by negative t plus 2. Then plug in the 6 for t, so 6 squared plus 3 over negative 6 plus 2. And we get 6 squared is 36, plus 3 is 39 over negative 4. So negative 39 fourths. Okay, so we can do it that way, or we can solve each one separately. So negative 6 here, so negative 6 minus 2 for f of t. G of t would be negative 6 squared minus 4. So 36 minus 4, so 32. Positive 6 minus 2, 4. So then we'd go 4 over 32, which we could actually reduce that to 1 over 8. And that would be our answer. Okay, 24, last one of these ones. Doing it separately, so negative 1 in for the 4, so 4 times negative 1 plus 5, negative 4 plus 5 would give us positive 1. So my fraction, positive 1 goes on top, 2 times negative 1 would give us negative 2, negative 2 on bottom. Alright? Now looking at these last ones, okay, the multiplication. So, I get 4n plus 4 times n squared minus 3n. Okay? Now, the way we learned how to do this last year was using the area model, also known as the box method. So I'd go 4n, positive 4, n squared, negative 3n. And then we just multiply each box. So n squared and 4n give us 4n cubed. N squared and 4, 4n squared. 4n and negative 3n, negative 12n squared. 3n and 4, negative 12n. Start with 4n cubed. Combine like terms. 4 and negative 12 would give us negative 8n squared minus 12n. And there's our simplified multiplication. Now there is another way to do this. It's called FOIL. Stands for first, outer, inner, last. So we set it up the same way. And it's basically the same process, just a different method. Instead of making the box to match them up, because that would be first, then the outer, 4n and negative 3n would be that. The inner would be those two. And then the last would be those two. So we go t squared times 4t to get 4t cubed. Okay, plus t squared times negative 3, negative 3t squared. Then 4t times 4t, so plus 16t squared. Then the last 4t times negative 3, negative 12t. So then we'd rewrite it. 4t cubed. Negative 3, positive 16 would be a positive 13t squared minus 12t. And that's all we do. It's the same process. I think the area model does help show your information a little better. Alright, 15. So t squared plus t times t plus 1. I'll use the area model here. T squared and t and 1, t cubed, t squared, and t. So we get t cubed plus 2t squared plus t, and there's our answer. Now, 16, 17, and 18, once again, we can start off by taking these and multiplying them together using our area model, 3t squared and negative 2t, negative t, and negative 1. So positive 3t cubed, positive 2t squared, positive 3t squared, and positive 2t. Combine like terms, 3t cubed plus 5t squared plus 2t. And then plug in the negative 2. So 3 times negative 2 cubed plus 5 times negative 2 squared plus 2 times negative 2. This would be negative 4. This would be positive 4 times 5 would be positive 20. This would be negative 8 times 3 would be negative 24. So negative 24 plus 20 is negative 4 minus 4 would give us negative 8 as our answer. So we can do that process and then put the number in, or like in 17, we'll do them separately. So negative 2 times negative 2, because a gets negative 2 substituted in. So we get positive 4 minus 5, which would be negative 1. And we'd get negative 2 cubed plus 1. We know that's negative 8 plus 1 would be negative 7. Then we go g, negative 1 times h, negative 7, to get positive 7. So whichever one you like better, that's the one I suggest using. For this last problem here, I'll multiply them out separately. So 2x cubed minus 4x squared times 4x plus 4. Use the area model. 2x cubed, negative 4x squared, 4x and 4. 4 times 2 is 8. X times x cubed is x to the 4th. 4 times negative 4, negative 16. X squared times x, x cubed. 4 times 2, 8. X cubed. 4 times negative 4, negative 16. X squared. So we get 8x to the 4th minus 16 plus 8. Negative 8x cubed minus 16x squared. Then we plug in another name for negative 2. Apparently we really like negative 2 on this one. So negative 2 to the 4th minus negative 2 cubed minus negative 2 squared. So positive 4 times negative 16 would be a negative 64. Negative 8 times negative 8, positive 64, which they basically cancel each other out. Negative 2 to the 4th is positive 16 times 8. That one I don't know off the top of my head. 128. Those cancel each other out, and we're left with 128 for our answer. So there's the basics with combining functions and how to do them.